Lamonte Turner, have you made a decision about whether you're going to start him on a regular basis, or will it be a game-by-game decision?
You know what, I really haven't given a lot of thought, to be honest with you, but I would think now, yeah, but I haven't given a lot of thought. You know, a lot of it, like I said, those have been based on matchups with other teams, but I was now I'll probably stay with it, but I really haven't given a lot of thought to it. You know, I really haven't. But I thought he handled it well. I think he handled it well. I think Jordan Bowles handled it well. Like I said, I consider us having 7 starters. Whatever we need to do from game to game, we'll do that.
That's Steve and Mike.
So in your experience, you obviously all dealt with what y'all dealt with against Vanderbilt last week, but in your experience, just how different is that road environment when you come in as a #1 ranked team versus if you're 5th, 6th, whatever?
Well, I mean, we know it's different. I mean, we know that it is what it is, really, and teams have a chance to continue to build their resume. But I can tell you, going to South Carolina tomorrow, it wouldn't matter if we were ranked or not ranked. If Frank Martin's teams are going to get after it. They're going to play hard. Again, we were there a year ago. I thought the atmosphere was tremendous. I think every year we've been there, it's been a great atmosphere. And obviously, with a ranking like that we have, it'll add something to it, certainly. But I mean, his guys, they're going to play hard. They're going to battle. And like I said, I respect him so much. It wouldn't matter if there's a ranking or not. His team is going to come to play.
Mike?
You had some guys, Bone, Grant, Admiral, with some abnormally high turnover numbers on Saturday. How do you clean that up before facing another tough defense?
Well, you're right, Mike, in the fact that, you know, just being sloppy with the ball, being too careless, and those are the points that make your those turnovers are the plays that make your defensive numbers go up, because you're basically just giving teams points. And if the team's going to score on you, you want them to have to earn it. But when you take the ball out, throw it away, you know, you go in sloppy with the ball, you bounce the ball off the back of your heel, those kind of plays are going to lead to easy baskets for the other team. And again, during our first time out, I talked to him about I thought we were way too casual on the offensive end and not protecting the ball the way we need to. And that's what we have to fix it. I mean, South Carolina, like any basketball team, they're going to thrive on their turnovers. They do a great job of their defense creating offense. And so taking care of the ball it's a must.
Rick, does this South Carolina team remind you a little bit of your team last year, just from the fact that, you know, they were picked to finish low and seem to be playing much better than where they were picked in the preseason?
Well, again, I've known Frank Martin for a long time, and his teams are as tough, rebound, hard-nosed as anybody, and I don't care what his record is. I mean, there are certain things that he's just not going to tolerate. If you don't play hard and do your job, he's going to set you down. And so his guys going forward, understanding how valuable those minutes are. And, you know, I think Frank's probably, I mean, coaches really don't care about preseason rankings. They really don't. We all know we do what we do, and we've all been around long enough to know that we look at our problems, but we also know that other teams got problems too. They've got things they're dealing with. Preseason rankings have never, again, I don't think it's meant anything. I just know that he's got some guys on his team that were on that Final Four team that it was just a matter of time before you felt like they would get things going. And you can go back, there's some other games that you look at that they could easily have won too. But I'm not, if you ask me if I'm surprised, I'm not surprised. And if you ask me if they're like our team a year ago, I like to think that again, I just can't tell you. I mean, I don't think there's any team in the country that plays any harder, works any harder trying to rebound the ball, play good defense, fight you for everything that you have. And I think that when you do that consistently, you're going to find a way to win games. And they do that. And his teams have always done that.
How much is Coach back? How much of a problem is Chris Silva for you guys coming up here?
He's a problem for everybody. I mean, you know, he's hard. He posts up really hard. He's going to work hard defensively. They work really hard at denying every pass. You know, they want to make you make plays really off the bounce, and you know, they do a good job of helping. Great job of recovering. Do the work early in the post. He posts up as hard and tries to get as deep as post up as anybody that we'll play against, and you know, we run very similar breaks, and so it's not going to be any surprises there. But yeah, he plays with a lot of tenacity and a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and yeah, he's tough. It's tough. It's going to be tough to guard him. You know, both teams again try to do a lot of the same things, and so it'll get down to, you know, how things go. Officials will be a big part of it, and I think we both know that.
Rob, Wes, and Steve.
Coach, with Jordan, with Bowden and Delonte, you got one of the deepest backcourts in the league. How important is it to get something from Fulkerson or Walker behind Kyle?
You know, probably maybe the most important thing, because again, in this game it's going to be important. You know, we need. You know, I thought Kyle really played hard Saturday. He just didn't get the, you know, best whistle, and but he played hard, worked hard, and but we need John and Derek to come in and really help. We do, and that maybe is as important as anything that we need with our team right now. Eve's going to continue to do what he does. I think Jalen will be ready to play, but we need Folky and Derek. We need them. We need them a lot. Kyle needs them. Grant needs them. Maybe we all need them. And hopefully they can. What we need them to do is defend, rebound, set screens, and bring the energy that we need to come off the bench.
Question?
It looked like after Admiral struggled a little bit early in that game, that he kind of, you know, put the ball on the floor when he got some tough buckets, some tough twos, calmed himself down a little bit. Was that something that conversation you had with him during the game, or did he just kind of have the wherewithal to do that?
Well, again, we all know that you can go through stretches where you don't shoot the ball well, and the more pressure you put on yourself trying to shoot it well, it just snowballs on you. And all we've asked him to do is to get lost in the game defensively, let the offense work for himself, just take his shots when he's open, and he's going to make shots. I mean, there's no doubt he's going to make his shots. But when I think he's had 2 back-to-back double-double games where he hasn't shot the ball well, but he's impacted the game, and I think he'll take a lot of pressure off himself by doing that. And when he starts making the shots, that he can continue to rebound like he's capable of. And again, it's no question that he is at his best when he's rebounding the ball on both ends. There's no question about that. So, but again, he works so hard at it. He wants to do well. He don't want to let anybody down, but there's no question that he went through some games where he was letting the fact that he wasn't making shots affect him physically, and I mean probably emotionally, not physically, emotionally, where again he just got to trust himself and know that he's put his time in and just play the game, and if he does that, he's going to be fine.
Steve?
Your 3 SEC road games so far, you've trailed in all of them, but ended up winning all of them. Just how do you feel about the way y'all performed on the road so far, and what has enabled y'all to be able to come from behind some of these numbers?
Well, I'm okay with that formula if it works. You know, I'm good with it. You know, but you know, you go on the road. I mean, I don't. You're not going to. Again, I don't think I've ever had a team that's led every game from start to finish. And it's part of basketball, and it goes back to, it speaks to our league that this is a very competitive league, and on any given night, and we know that anybody can win. And again, I think you go back to having a ranking. I think you expect to bring out the best in people. I think you're probably surprised when that doesn't happen. And but it's a 40-minute game, and we have to stay locked in and just worry about what we need to do to execute and stay together and continue to understand as a group we've got one goal, and that's to obviously win a game, but it's also to play the best basketball we can play.
Rob and Grant?
Coach, big concern, you've been out rebounded the last 2 games, or is it fluky, you think?
Yeah, I think when you go back to our last 2 games, but now West Virginia is an extremely difficult team to out-rebound. They're great at that, and we had our hands on a couple balls that went out of bounds that should have been rebounds, where we'd probably been closer to being even, but getting ready to play another team that puts a premium on rebound. Everybody does, and we should. We should be a team that wants to get to, we're too inconsistent getting to the offensive boards. Defensively, our guards stand around, watch too much. There's a lot of balls that are going to be batted around, tipped around, that your guards need to come down and clean it up and help you with. we still have some possessions where guys just stand and watching that they're expecting Kyle, Grant, somebody to come up with it, but but Grant's got to get back to rebounding. You go back and look, I mean, he has had a couple games back there. I don't think he's had 5 rebounds combined. And that's an issue, and that's something he's going to have to look at himself and know that that's him doing his job. And I would say the same thing about him I said about Admiral. When you're doing those things, normally the offensive side of the ball takes care of itself. And so we need, as a group, to be focused on that. We need to have more consistency. The one thing with starting Lamonte, we lose what Eve brings early in the game, that offensive rebound, because Eve does a great job of doing that. But what we need there now would be Admiral, Grant, and Kyle doing a great job there. And when Bowden comes in the game, he's a guy that we expect to attack the boards like Eve would. We expect Lamonte and Bone to rebound the elbows. We expect them to be there to help us, and we need them to do that.
Is it a teaching point for Kyle, even if you do get a bad whistle, you can't foul out as early in a game as you did?
Yeah, it was, it's tough because, again, West Virginia ran some those inside screens that are tough, and, in the post, you're allowed to use your bar, but when the guy starts moving, you got to get your hands off. And I thought one of the calls in the game that, he got fouled first and he tried to fight back around, and that happened some where the first one's missed and the second guy gets called, and I thought he had actually 2 of those where he was fighting for early post up, to get around, and got pushed back, and he fought back around, and when he did it, he pulled an arm down, and one across the lane where he definitely was in great position, and he put 2 hands on the guy coming across the top of the screens, which can't do that, but Kyle's going to keep battling, but he had a tough whistle Saturday.
Rick, South Carolina's only lost 1 conference game, but they have a losing record non-conference. What have you seen? Is there a common thread? Are they playing better defense? Are they shooting better, rebounding better in conference games? What's the difference?
I think they do a really good job. They turn you over. They'll get down. They'll shoot it quick. They turn you over, and like any good team, I think they're really capitalizing there. I think they're doing that well, and it goes back. Teams. We all start out the season in different spots. I mean, you think about it. We started out with a group that was all pretty much intact. Frank had some things he had to do to get them going, but he's done it, and that's what you respect about an experienced coach who's been around. And they realize it's a long season, and they realize that we're in the second part of this is the second. We're all done with non-league now. We're in conference play, and we'll have another conference tournament, and we're in postseason. But I just think it's getting everybody together, and it takes that sometimes when you're adding some pieces to it and getting everybody. And every year you rebuild every year. Whether people want to hear that number, there's no team is never the same. I mean, this team that we have is not the same team we had a year ago, and so we all have to go through some of those growing pains at times. But they certainly picked the right time to start playing well. They had a tough one this weekend, playing against a good team, very emotional arena, and I think he's done a great job, staying with his guys and getting them to understand what they need to do to win.
Time for a couple more if we got it. Gene?
Coach, you've had a number of teams that have been able to get 3-point happy against you, and and that's obviously caused some runs in the course of some of the last few games. Do you eventually start trying to play the percentages with that, because of the fact that most of these teams are shooting far above like their season averages, or are you still focusing on still playing the right way?
No, we're still trying to play our principles. We will do that. I mean, we're going to still continue to try to guard the 3-point line, but we can't really keep people from shooting the ball all the time. We can turn them over some, but they're going to get shots up, and sometimes you sit there and you look at the percentages, and guys that normally don't make them. I mean, you see that too. But as long as we're trying to play good, sound defense and contest shots, and that what we don't want to do is give open wide open shots, and like we gave, I can think of 2 right here, right now that we gave Saturday, where we were in a full rotation and one guy doesn't rotate, it's going to get wide open shots, and but it goes back to our defense. We still know that we've got to improve there with everyone being engaged the entire time, and we've been putting people deep into the shot clock where now the drive starts and we don't stay in front of the ball, or we get split on ball screens. We get forced into a rotation when the clock's coming down. People that maybe don't particularly shoot the ball well, they have to shoot it without a conscience, and it goes. But you know, anybody's capable. We tell our guys, anybody that plays at this level is capable of making a shot. But you know, we're always going to try to defend that line as best as we can. But each game, our game plan is going to change a little bit based on we're always going to try to take away what the other team does best, which is hard to do.
Rick, I think through the last 4 games, the opponent has shot over 50% in the second half. Can you pinpoint why?
Well, some of it is those turnovers. You get turnovers, and you dunk the ball. Turnovers give them. You go back when we were shooting over 50% a lot. We were getting out and getting those layups. You give up layups off turnovers and missed rotations. Yeah, they're going to shoot a high percentage, and so some of it has to do. We don't even get a chance to get our defense set, and people are scoring. So that has something to do with it too. When you get sloppy with the ball, and then game comes out. You know, sometimes like when you're in a game when you're up big at halftime, or you build a lead, your teams start putting their head down, driving the ball, and you don't want to foul, and you don't play defense the way you should. And teams that maybe get to the rim or get a wide open look because you're not on edge the way you should be, because there's a lot that goes into it at different times of the game. But I would say that one of the biggest reasons, looking at it, I mean, I know we gave West Virginia 12 points, where again, you give them credit because they took it when we gave it to them and they scored. That's 6 baskets. That's 6, and you take those 6 away, it would bring that percentage down. But you can't take it away because we made a mistake and they capitalized on it.
Coach, to finish up with your Super Bowl prediction.
Who's in it?
The Patriots and the Rams.
Patriots and the Rams. Who's favored?
Patriots by 2.5, I believe.
2.5.
I believe so, maybe 3.
It's hard to bet against Brady.
I don't know anything about the Rams. I know it's hard to go against that New England team. And the way Jimmy's looking at me, I think he wants me to pick New England.
Yeah, I agree.
Jimmy gives me that look, so I'm going New England.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rick.